Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Rue, and amongst other things, I'm the scripter of the GM Sandbox. I've just finished version 4, and it's a pretty big expansion on what I did for V3. How big? Well, actually, if you try loading it into the mission editor, it produces enough lag to pretty much crash the program, that big. So if you used V3, and hopefully you'll find that there's a lot of new stuff or stuff's being done better than before. If you didn't actually use V3 of the sandbox, hopefully you'll find this new one really even easier to use, and this video is going to help you do that. The idea was that the programming to make the sandbox is very complicated, so using it isn't. But it's really complicated stuff inside. There's a lot of random algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But you don't need to know about that. For V3, we had I made a manual. The instructions for V4 fit on one A4 piece of paper, which is much easier. So the version 4 is all about being very easy and powerful and very easy to use. So you'd imagine the number of times I've done these little webcast things, I'd be better at them, but I'm probably not. So the most important difference for actually being a GM and using it is to remember that P button, which move all players button, that's now the PvP menu. To move all players is now the little star multiplication button. We're going to talk about it in a minute. So we're going to be testing this on 2.19, which will be on general release, I guess, in a few weeks or a few months or something. So this is to show that actually the sandbox works correctly. So because it's a multi-ship script, you can use the first 6 ships. The Artemis, the Intrepid, the Aegis, the Horatio, the Excalibur, the Hera. And to actually make a ship appear, you just need to make sure you have the main screen selected. So let's start Sandbox. Join in, and then hopefully it will not explode. So you need to make sure you have Observer and Master, because the game uses a system of menus, and to actually see the pop-up menus, you need to have Observer mode console. Okay, very quickly to talk through the stuff. Let me make some very quick. Okay, right. Okay, so you've got pretty much some standard buttons to use. So, like I said, you can now spacebar to delete things. So select it, press spacebar, and delete whatever you selected. J is now the jump menu. So if I bring that guy back, okay, select him, select where I want to go, press J, he jumps. Super easy. If you want to move all the players, you just select over and press the little star button, boop, and the players can move. And plus and minus still cycle through the sectors. So to show what that looks like, okay, we just entered. This is Elysium Sector 1. Press minus, we go back down to the blank screen. And Y now toggles through the skyboxes. And the skyboxes, if you don't know, is the color scheme sort of thing in the background. So if you look here, we look like that. Okay, press the Y button a few times. We should change to a different. You can see now it's also green. It's just more of an aesthetic thing. But if you want to pretend you're going for a new sector or a new star system, it's kind of cool to be able to make it look a bit different. The slash key is to toggle on and off of free flight mode, which is something I made for version 3 of the sandbox, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. Pretty much, basically, the sandbox comes with around more than 50 pre-made sectors in it. In the star systems, they're each consisting of 16 sectors. You fly to the edge of the sector, and it will sort of scroll to the next sector. You come to the top, it will scroll up to the next sector above it. So all of the actual sectors make sense. They all link together to make a star system that seems to make a lot more sense than just one sector here, one sector there, that kind of stuff. I will try and stick another page onto the GM Sandbox sort of guide sheet of little maps. They're pretty easy once you get the hang of them. So let's get rid of that guy. Just select him, press spacebar, he's gone. Let's jump the player ship over here, press J, bump. So that's the basic keys. Now the rest of it, the real power of the sandbox and why it's so easy to use is it uses these pop-up menus. Now normally, before when you did this kind of thing, you'd have to have different sheets of paper, you'd have to know which code was what, and you press this button. Very complicated. Now this is super easy. Now let's start off and we go through the list. So Q, for quick jump. Now, like I said, there's some pre-made star systems. Number one is blank, and gives you a blank play area for you to create, make whatever you want to make, for whatever kind of story you want to tell. Number two is the Elysium Gate. That's the Elysium system. Number three is the Tarantus Gate. Now, there's quite a bit that I wrote already online about these two. There's Elysium Command. Elysium is the major star system in the tri-system area in this region. It's got a population in the billions. It's a major economic center. Press Q again. Let's jump to Tarantus. Tarantus is a major industrial area. There isn't actually any planets. The star system, the heart of the Tarantus system, produces very powerful gravitational waves, which is basically mushed up all the planets. So it's actually very good for mining. But going into the center is a bit dangerous because there are a lot of black holes and they move and they jump around. And if you go to Corilla, which is number 4, Corilla is the new system. So I've just made Corilla. It's what the Zimni called the cursed star. It's a neutron star at the heart of it, and the neutron star has bursts of neutron radiation, and it blows all sorts of star matter across the sector and the system. It causes a significant problem. It damages ships. I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna say. At the heart of Corilla is a neutron star, and it gives off bursts of neutron radiation and other debris that it scatters across the system. You see this kind of stuff, and it shifts, but it also pushes ships around. Because it causes so much damage, the Stellar Navy have only got a light presence here for the most part. They've got a command and control station, a supply ship, and there are 5 other deep space stations. The rest of the star system is relatively empty, and the Stellar Navy just routinely runs sweeps for it to stop attack from building stuff. So this is Corilla, and I'll write some more about that online. I'll put that up there. So that's a quick jump menu. Press Q, and you get a little pop-up like this. So this is your normal menu. Now, if I want to go to a blank one, I just press 1, jump, stand by for transfer, back to the menu. Very, very easy. If you want to know what a gate looks like in the sandbox, the gates look like that. That is a Stellar Navy, United Planets jump gate. Looks just like that. Okay, let's look at another menu. Wave of enemies. Now, this is very easy to use. So basically, wave of enemies. So W for wave, press W, and you get a list of the different waves you can choose. Level 5, and this pretty much randomly simulates what the game will produce. So let's press number 1. Randomly produces a normal wave. If you want to get rid of those guys, press W for wave. Clear enemies, press number 7, and clears the enemies away. And you can do whatever level you want. So W, let's make a level 9, press 5. Okay, great. Let's make those guys go away. W, clear enemies. Okay, just like that. So you can pretty much run games just from using the jump to system and wave of enemies. You go to a system, it's under attack, you spawn the enemies, you kill them, yay, you're the hero at the end. But the sandbox has got tons and tons and tons of other options. So for example, let's start running through these now. E. This is for E for environment. These are the environment options. And it's kind of like painting. Like, let's do number 1, let's make some asteroids over there. E, let's make some nebula over here. Yeah, it's kind of really therapeutic doing this. But the thing I'm most proud of on here, press 6 to erase the local area, so you can do this kind of stuff. The thing I'm most proud of is number 7, the random sector. You can press that, and it will randomly generate a sector. So although there's just over 50 pre-made sectors, using the random sector generator, there are literally an infinite number of sectors, and there are billions or trillions of different combinations that this thing can make. So let's make another one. Random sector again. See, makes another one. All different. And very, very easy if you want, and very, very quick. Let's blank that off. If you want to, if you ever want to cancel a menu, you don't want it, press 0, it will cancel the menu. Let's jump to blank. So Q, Blank. Okay, if you jump to the blank sector, it will delete all of the environmental pictures, drawings, whatever. Okay, E for environment, O is for other environments. So for example, black holes, to remove black holes, O for other environment, 2 for remove black holes. And there's all sorts of other interesting things. You could make a planet, you could remove a planet, you could make some wreckage, you could remove the wreckage, or you can make like a sensor relay. Okay, cancel that. B for base. You want to make a friendly base, you press B, choose which one you want. Deep space base, industrial base, civilian base, command base, science base, or a supply ship. So let's make a civilian base and a supply ship. So B for base, 6 for supply ship. A supply ship is more useful if you're doing a mission or adventure where you're going into unknown territory, where you wouldn't have a station. So let's look. Let's look forwards. And there's our supply ship just now. Remember our keys, so if you want to make it go away, just select it. Press spacebar and it deletes it. Neutrals. Press N, load up the neutrals. You can make a luxury yacht, a transport, a cargo ship, a science ship, a dispatch ship, a destroyer, or a Zimni warship. A dispatch ship, I press 5. This was an idea that was come up by Captain Felters, which is actually really cool. So originally I came up with this idea that interstellar communication would use some kind of Ansible, but they had this really clever idea which reminds me a bit of World War II, where they actually send dispatch ships through the jump gates, because that's actually a pretty effective way of doing Farson-like communications. You jump the ship, it transmits and receives messages, jumps to the next star system and does it again, jumps again, and that's how they do it. But you get lots of fun missions too, because then what if a dispatch ship goes missing? There's a whole mission to go and find it. Also, because it means communications are slightly lower, captains are more on their own. It gives Artemis more of a frontier kind of feel, which is cool. So that's where the dispatch ships are there, but they're optional. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. The other thing which I added in, which is a Zimni warship, purely because I like the idea of the Zimni, and they're not in the game yet. So actually that's just a dreadnought, but I've changed the write-up for it. So it's a Zimni warship, the biggest Zimni warship fitted with heavy beams and jump drive. And by jump drive, I mean the GM basically has to select it and press J to jump it around the plane, the sector. Okay, that's neutrals. Get into more fun stuff. The hostiles menu. Press H for hostile. You can produce Kralians, Scarans, Torgoth, Avonians, mixed fleets, or you've also got these new options. Make hostile or make unhostile. So if I make a Scaran, this guy is definitely hostile and he's going to try and attack me. Finally come over here. He's going to try and get me. Yeah, you see, he's definitely hostile. He doesn't like me very much. Hostile, make unhostile. And you'll see that he's now my friend. If you want to make him hostile again, H for hostiles, make hostile, number 6. And he's going to proceed to start attacking again. The story, the amount of uses this guy's huge. And it makes making adventures and plots way, way easier than what we used to have to do before. And you can do it all in real time. I mean, that's the real strength of the sandbox, is you can do all this stuff in real time. The next one, which was asked for, is fortresses. Now, F for fortress. A fortress to me is anything that you attack as like a mission objective. So you're talking bases and enemy cargoes and transports and that kind of stuff. So you make a Kralian base, a Avonian base, Torgoth base, Scaran base, enemy cargo ship, or enemy transport. So, a Kralian base. Pop, there appears the Kralian base. Very, very easy. Select it, press spacebar, delete it. Very, very easy. Make as many of them as you want. Xenos. Xeno means alien, so press X for Xeno, and you get the aliens. Space whales, monster, biomechs of varying levels. 2.19 features some new aliens, like the dragon and the shark. When I figure out how to actually create them, I'll add them to the sandbox here. Okay, if we don't want anything in this menu, press 0. Disappears. I for independence, press I, you get independent station. This is more for storytelling. An independent station will show up as a station, but it will not allow you to dock or anything like that. so it's more for storytelling. Press I. You can also make neutral Corellians, neutral Scarans, neutral Torgoth, neutral Arvonians. You can also make some Terran pirates, as in they're independent from the rest of the United Planets, so they may attack. Or you can make press 7, which produces an envoy, which is like a diplomatic mission, which again is very, very useful for storytelling. Loads and loads of uses. Okay, let's get rid of him. T is for Terran ships from the Terran Stellar Navy, or the Stellar Navy. You can make a scout, a cruiser, a battleship, but you can also make enemy versions. So you can make a bad scout, or a bad cruiser, or a bad battleship, or a dreadnought. So let's make, for example, a bad scout. Press 4, produces a scout, except he's an enemy. I could use the hostile menu to make him friendly, or I could delete him and make a friendly one, whatever I want. So let's get rid of him. S, specials menu. Now these specials, S for special, these are enemies that you do not get in the standard game. They're made using mission scripting. They're very complicated, and for the most part, they're only on this sandbox and the other missions I've done. So these are guys that I've actually made myself. Kamikaze Corellians, the Graviton ships, burst fuel generators, gas clouds, anti-positron ships. Attack gate. That's kind of fun. S, attack gate. I'll talk about him in a second. And AI upgrade, which I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so the Kamikaze Corellians are basically normal Corellian ships, but when you get close enough to them, they will explode and try and take the ship out with them. The Graviton ships are prototype Corellian vessels where they're trying to copy Stellar Navy technology. They're not as fast as Stellar Navy ship, but they're a lot faster than normal when they get going. And when they explode, they produce, graviton implosion imminent, which gives you a short warning to get out of the way, and then they pop and go boom, and they make a black hole. Oh, except it appeared on my ship. Oh, I've just found a bug. What a bummer. Okay, totally need to fix that. Okay. Yeah, I should say that this is actually debugging while I'm doing this. Because the sandbox is now so large and so complicated, it's really difficult to do it inside the editor. Okay. Special menu. The gas cloud ship pumps out anti-positrons. If the ship's shields or hull touches them, it will basically drain the energy out of the ship. An attack gate is a kind of a cool one. If I press 5. The attack gate, which looks a bit like, can I see from this one? Too far away. Okay. The attack gate uses some new program that I came up with, and what it does is the sandbox will detect how many players ships have spawned, and it will adjust its difficulty. So attack gate will actually produce at random intervals enemy fleets. If there are more player ships, it makes more difficult fleets. If there's not very many enemy ships, it makes a lighter enemy fleet. So that's the enemy attack gate. That's kind of cool. I'm not going to wait for it to spawn anybody. I'm just going to get rid of it. Oh. Okay. The next group of menus are like the AI menus. So, sorry, my mouse is playing up. Press A for attack AI. And you can tell the enemies or neutrals, wherever you want, to chase players, chase the base, chase neutrals, to attack space whales. Unsurrender and surrender are pretty new. And the all surrender button is completely new for this. So that's kind of handy for this. So if you imagine you've got an enemy wave and you're playing RP, but your session needs to come to an end, you don't just say, oh yeah, you won the end. You can make something along the lines of attack AI, surrender all. They all surrender, and then they sort of flee the battle. Oh yes, you won. We're fleeing from the mighty Stellar Navy. Okay, let's get rid of this fast. Pop. That's another thing. Sometimes there's a lot of ships. You might have to do it more than once. Okay. D for directional AI. You can tell ships to fly in whatever direction you want. Including obey comms orders and to stop. L is kind of elite speak. So if you press L, you can give enemy ships various elite abilities. And the next group of menus we've got are things like game elements. So G, you can make a collectible which the ship has to collect as part of a mission objective, or you can make escape pods like that, or you can remove escape pods. You can make a GM shuttle. You can make a jump LZ marker for if you want them to go to some flight somewhere. A new one that's added is the end simulation. So 7. Warning, this will end the simulation, are you sure? If you press 0, it will cancel. You press 1, and the simulation should come to an end. Just like that. Okay, let's start it back up. The rewards menu. You want to reward your players, select them, press R. You can give them energy, nukes, ECMs, whatever you want. I've added in energy to 0, so actually you can take a player's energy away as a punishment or to pretend they've been sabotaged. You can also make them mine immune and non-immune, which actually means they will no longer set off mines. And it will affect whatever player ship you select. So you can give bonuses to some players, not others. Okay, 0. U is for the shield upgrade, so we can adjust shields. So at the moment I've got shields of 80. 7, just give myself some monster shields. You can, again, it affects players, neutrals, stations, and enemies. P for PvP, that's a really cool new one. I've got 3 new PvP areas. Number 1 is a standard PvP sort of standard layout. PvP area 2 is basically no stations, which means when you lose damcom teams and your ship gets damaged, your performance is going to go down because you cannot dock and get down through black. The cool, interesting feature on this one is these black holes jump and leap around to random locations. PvP area 3 is my favorite one. What it does is it actually takes away all your ammo, except for homings. And if you want to get any ammo, you have to destroy these ammo ships and collect the ammo crates that they drop, and it will give you 1 random ordnance, which is really, really cool. So you never really know what you're going to get. Other PvP options is you can choose which player goes on team 1 or team 2, or if you press 4, it will actually assign players to auto teams. A new one that I've added is M, which is like a mission, some built-in missions. We've got a rescue mission and an inspection mission. I did want to add in an escort mission, but I just ran out of time. If you press 1, it will give a mission briefing to comms. If you press 2 or 3 actual mission button, it will actually load up that mission. Cancel that. And the last one is V for voice. There's a whole set of the fact that Artemis can do voice stuff and we've never actually used it, or I never used it. V allows you to do these little commands. I copied one of these from Captain Faltus. Had this funny thing that when the GM was quickly making the sector, he'd say stand by for sensor update. Really, really clever. So now what you can do is sensor update number 3, press that, it will instantly send a message to comms that will say all ships stand by for sensor update. So then you can quickly make the sector or whatever you're going to do. So that's all the different features. That's the new features. Play around with it. I hope you like it. And if you use it and you have any fun adventures, please tell me about it. Okay, bye-bye.